Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Levi, and joining me now is the man headlining UFC Poland against Cowboy Cerrone. I'm talking about Darren Till. Darren, welcome back to Half the Battle.
Thanks for having me back, brother. I hope you're all great.
Doing amazing, man. How are you?
I'm great, mate. I'm on top of the world.
So, man, I introduced you as the headliner for UFC Poland. Main event. How good does that sound?
It sounds good, mate. It really does.
You've come a long way from having Fight of the Nights with Nick Dalby. Now you're headlining a card against a legend of the sport. How do you feel about your career progression, man? You've come a long way.
Yeah, I've come a long way, and it's only the start. I haven't really made a dent in anything I want to do in the sport, and the future's bright. I can see, where my end goal is going to be, and I'm fighting Cowboy Cerrone. Such a respected fighter in the MMA community, and it's one of them, mate. It's going to be a great opportunity for me.
100%. And, there's a lot to talk about with this matchup. So, a lot of Cowboys' opponents like to mention how, he is notorious for being a little bit weak to the body. You're a southpaw. Do you feel as if the left kick is going to be a big weapon in this fight, Darren?
Yeah, I just feel like all round, mate. I feel like all round. If we could talk about specifically just striking, I'm just too strong, too powerful for them. And just feel like I'm the more intelligent fighter. I don't really think. It's a big fight, but I know 1,000,000% I'm gonna come out on top and beat this guy.
Now, Cowboy has this thing where he kind of likes to be friends with his opponents. I'm sure you've noticed it by watching a ton of his fights. You saw he tried to do that against Matt Brown, and Matt Brown wasn't having any of it until the third round of their fight, and then you saw what happened there. What's your opinion on Cowboy trying to be friends with his opponents?
I just don't care, mate. Friends, foes, enemies. I just don't care. I'm going in there to take Cowboy out. That's my only concern. I don't care whether he wants to be my friend or whatever. After the fight, I always have the utmost respect for every fighter, which I think you should have. But friends, foes, enemies, whatever. It doesn't concern me. It's not an issue.
How much would a win here change your life, man? Because obviously it's the biggest name you've ever faced.
I win. Change my life, yeah. Financially, get a lot of good money for this fight, and I think people will be considering me, the next top big thing in the welterweight division, and it's not even like if I win or what I win. It's like I know I'm gonna win. I'm just gonna wait to see what happens after it. You know what I mean?
100%. And do you like the fact that it's a 5-round fight? Because now you get 2 extra rounds to work if it goes there, Darren.
Yeah, I just don't care, mate. 5 rounds, 3 rounds, 7 rounds. I'm always training very, very, very hard. I train more than what needs to be done because I know that things like this can happen. 5 rounders, whatever. And I'm made up. If it goes the full 5 rounds, okay. If I knock him out in the first, okay. Whatever. But I know I will be winning this fight.
So your last fight, you took on Bojan Velichkovic, and going into the fight, dude, I thought it was going to be one of the toughest fights of your career. He's a point fighter, like you said last time we spoke. He's a stealer. He's very good at stealing these rounds. Not only did you beat him pillar to post, but you got into his head. He started getting off his game. He started taunting you. Were you kind of surprised when he was, putting his hands up in the air, trying to put on a show, which is not what he's known for?
No, it's just I always get guys out to their game plans. They come in with a game plan, and I take them straight out of it because they feel like they can hit me in certain spots. They feel like he's hitting me with leg kicks and trying to taunt me. But I'm layering him to my game. I want him to hit me with the leg kick. That's what I want from him. So it's just like, yeah, he's a good fighter, clever, but when you're in there with me, mate, it's different. I bring you into Darren Till world, and when you're in my world, you're not getting out. You're not getting out on the good side. You're getting out on the bad side. You ain't beating me, and that's what happened with Bojan.
Are you almost trapping these guys? When they decide to throw the leg kicks, they think they're going to get off on a very good technique against you, but it's almost like they're falling into a trap, right?
Yeah, they are. I'm trapping them, guys. I'm bringing them into a false sense of security that, they think they can hit me and then they can capitalize, but I know exactly what I'm doing. That striking, I just know what I'm doing in the striking department, and I proved that with Bojan and many other guys, and Yeah, as I've just said to you, they're in Darren Till world when they're trying to strike with me, and they're not coming out on the good side when you're striking with me. You're just not. It doesn't matter what happens.
So, Darren, earlier this year when you took on Ayari, you were coming off a long layoff, and we had to talk about how what's it like getting back inside the UFC's octagon. But now you're taking on your third fight in a very short amount of time. Are you starting to, feel more comfortable in there? Are you starting to feel fresh now that you're fighting so consecutively?
I just like fighting, mate. I had that long layoff. I didn't want to have it off, but I had to. Everyone knows what happens with my shoulder and that. But the UFC straight after my fight, they asked me if I wanted to fight Donald, and I said yeah. After this fight, if they want me to fight again, I'll say yeah, and I'll say yeah, and I'll say yeah, mate. I just don't care. I really do not care. I like fighting. That's what I like doing. So 3 fights, 4 fights, 6 fights this year. Let's try and do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what the UFC likes. They like guys that are willing to fight anyone, anytime, any place, and to take it up another level. You come to fight. You don't come to hump someone's leg. You come to knock people out. And that being said, man, obviously you'll take a win by any means necessary. But is there something specific? Is there a certain statement you're looking to make here in the main event?
I'm just gonna go out there, mate, and just try and knock his face clean off. That is literally all I'm gonna try and do. And if he survives the storm, if he goes the 5 rounds, I don't think he will. I think in the second he'll already be gasping for a way out. Main event statements, all them things coming to me head, but I'm just training hard and I'm going in there to really, really hit Donald Cerrone. That's my main goal right now.
Now, Darren, I know you're a very mentally strong guy, so I know these outside things really don't affect you, but do you have an opinion on being the underdog for the first time in your UFC career?
Just don't care, mate. People have said, oh, it's the first time you're underdog. You're fighting. I just don't care, honestly, mate. I'll just be totally truthful. I really don't care. Underdog, this, that, the other. It just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, honest to God.
Well, it sounds like your focus is hell, man. I like this Darren Till, man.
Yeah, mate, honestly, opportunities like this don't come around every so often, and I ain't got nothing to lose. A lot of people have a mentality, I've got nothing to lose, and I really haven't got nothing to lose, but I'm not going in with this mentality of like, I've got nothing to lose, so I'll just have a good fight with Donald and we'll see what happens. Fuck that shit. I'm going in there to take Donald Cerrone clean out. I don't give a fuck if I'm fighting on 4 weeks' notice after my last fight, For none of this, where I've got nothing to lose, I have actually got nothing to lose, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go in there and have a good fight with him. I'm going in there to win and solidify my name in the welterweight division.
So, Darren, a lot of the fans have been asking me, when are you going to make your USA debut?
I think after this fight, the UFC could put me on a pay-per-view. I could be up on that card. Obviously, I'm not a pay-per-view star. I couldn't main event anything or co-main, but definitely right up there on a nice big pay-per-view event so they can, the pay-per-views are made, the fighters like me, you come and give it and bring it and are confident and talk brashfully. So, after this fight, I think it's definitely on the cards, mate.
Well, Darren, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right here, right now on Half the Battle. It's always a pleasure, man. The fans can follow you at Darren Till 2. Any message for the fans before we go, man?
I just like the fans a lot, whether you hate me or you love me. I've got so much time for the fans because they're the guys that make the sport. They're the guys that send the messages of that we're inspiring them, and they pay out of their own pocket to see guys like us put it all on the line. So just thank you, whether you love me or hate me. Just thank you to everyone.